Shalom,
everybody.
shalom, shalom.
All right. All praises, man. Glad to see everybody making it in. Got the Holy Feast Day, or convocational day, I should say. The memorial assignment this evening.
Uh,
Um, when I set up the class, the Spirit hit me yesterday. I was kind of looking at, uh, this talk about the border. And the Title 42 expiring, and you seeing the mass droves of our people, man, clawing and fighting their way to get up in here, man. It's squeezing their way up in here. It's like World War Z. If you seen that movie, I know how to die. I know what I'm talking about. When them zombies was climbing over that wall of Jerusalem, they was trying to get up in there, man.
mhm,
I looked and I said, "This is America's nightmare, boy."
mhm.
To see all of these jakes, Northern and Southern Kingdom, flooding in by the thousands before the deadline hits, and even after they gonna be trying to squeeze up in here, man. It's just indicative of um looking at the prophecy and just looking at the history too. We look at with the famine that was happening in Canaan, and our people, Jacob and the 70 souls had to go to Egypt to get the resources and to get the means of survival. And we know Joseph was already there, so he was already building on the 10 tribes, similar to like we break down 1492, so forth and so on. Man, our people was over here after the 722 BC captivity of the Assyrians. Uh, we made our way over here, according to Second Ezra 13, uh, 39 down, and it's the same thing playing out now, and it's almost like a catch 22 because everybody that's coming over here, Esau is going to weaponize them and use them to further collapse America. America ain't got nothing to support all these people coming over here.
Right.
But they're promising them and telling them, we got you covered. Come on over here. But what are they going to do? They're going to increase the poverty rates. They're going to increase the crime. They're going to increase everything. When Israel come in, they say you can take the hood out you can take a nigga out the hood, but you can't take the hood out. They bring in everything that comes along with it.
Right.
Let's jump over to Isaiah 30. Let's get a couple scriptures in the spirit.
All them ladies can have babies.
Oh, they bringing the
Oh, yeah.
babies. They bringing,
They was pregnant, been 3 months, and they having the babies.
on the, yeah.
Right.
I seen one. It was a baby, and it had to been a little toddler, girl, maybe about, she couldn't have been more than 5, 6 years old, if that.
Mm.
They found them in the bushes. The parents was nowhere to be found.
Wow.
That baby left it in the bush.
Yeah, the baby. There was a baby there. The baby had to been, a
Mm.
year younger. The little girl was there.
Mm.
They found them in the bushes.
See.
But let alone, I mean, you get the child trafficking going on. I mean, like you said, they got the tents going on. The cartels is hustling, getting the coyotes going.
Yeah.
It's a real mess.
I was just going to say, the Most High's, of course, we know his judgments, his prophecies are being fulfilled all the way across the board. And we're seeing how the judgment must begin. And it has already been going on, but now it's at a height that is going to take it over. I make reference to Jeremiah 50:33.
Oh yeah. I was just thinking about that one, but we got it for sure.
Jeremiah 50. And even though we have been oppressed wherever we go, but he is really putting it all together. I'm going to put all y'all together. So my commandments and my prophecies will be fulfilled.
Right.
50:33.
Jeremiah 50:33. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go.
So he's bringing us all together now. I mean, they have their home down in Venezuela, Costa Rica, Brazil, and all that. But how he's bringing all of them up here now, where a lot of the 10 tribes are here, but a lot of the southern tribe is also here. So Here he is, bringing them all up from the south, coming up to the north country, so we can be oppressed together. Everybody, and it's gonna get worse all the way around. I know in my neighborhood, it's unbelievable. You talking about parking spaces? now where my niece lives, it's even worse. They not only park on the street on both sides, but they double park on both sides, all the way down. Police ain't saying nothing. So now here they are. It in at what 11:59 at night, which is 9 o'clock our time. They just gonna flood the whole, everything. But this is all goes back to also Revelation 17 and 17. Where he says, read that.
Revelation 17, verse 17. For the Most High have put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled.
It's all about fulfilling his will. He putting everything in everybody's heart to fulfill. Most High just kick back saying, yeah, everything is, at a continuum. Everything is going down exactly how it's supposed to be. And they're satisfying what I have already ordained or I have already written. And now look at, it's always been coming to fruition, but even for us who have the knowledge of the scriptures, and he's imparting more and more of that to us, that now we're actually witnessing it on a daily basis, although we've been doing it, but it has just reached a point of where it's even more clarification, I think. Actuality. Absolutely.
That's why it's like I said, it's a catch-22 and it's a double-edged sword, because while our people is going to be are walking into like a burning house, the knowledge and the avenue to salvation or hearing of the word is most popular here as well. So, getting riding on the Jeremiah 50:33 wave it's prophesied that we're going to be in the same place in the end times, being oppressed together. So that plays a part. But at the same time, this is where the word is emanating the most populace out from. So if you're looking at even from the history of looking at Rome, Rome was the first melting pot, that they was incorporating all the nations and everybody's prospering. But there was a point where the slaves basically had all the jobs and occupations. So the regular Roman citizens was like, how are we supposed to get money? And that's when the Caesars had to jump in there and was like, you know what? We're going to have to equal the playing field. Y'all going to have to start taking some of these slaves off the jobs, and regular people going to have to start working and figuring things out, because ultimately overspending, too much of the military spread all throughout their coastlines and from from Carthage all the way down to India. They had military bases, so they was military spending. But look at America; they got over 700 military bases throughout the world. You're talking about economic spending is at it exhausted. They still at the debt, so they still ain't figured out how they gonna pay their bills next month. And here you are telling 10,000 of our people a day coming through saying, come on over. We got, they giving them free phones, bus tickets, and telling them, figure your way out. Come on over. So the house is burning, but they got our people up in here. So the prayer is, and the understanding is that, Lord willing, some of them people get sealed with the word of the Most High and help escalate us getting up out of here.
Absolutely.
Give me something before we go to Isaiah 30, Psalms 105:24. That's why I say it's America's nightmare, because you're bringing in a mass amount of the children of Israel that's going to ultimately, eat this place alive. But at the same time, it's an opportunity for them to wake up too.
Absolutely.
They're going to be exposed to this truth even more
Mhm.
than they ever have. Psalms, what I said, 105, 24?
24.
Okay,
Book of
okay.
Psalm 105, verse 20,
Actually, read 23 and 24.
23.
Yeah.
Israel also came into Egypt, and Jacob sojourned in the land of Ham.
Mm-hmm.
And he increased his people greatly and made them stronger than their enemies.
See, that's what happened in ancient Egypt, and is happening now as we're seeing our people greatly increasing. And you know, these Edomites are scared to death.
Yeah.
They just
yeah.
Edomite rancher, man, old damn decrepit Edomite man shot and killed a migrant on his property a couple months ago.
I
He's
saw
in
that.
Arizona. You
Yeah,
seen them?
yeah. I
So
saw
they
that.
already ready to shoot. You know,
Already.
oh
No
yeah,
questions.
they down there in Brownsville, Texas, loading up all down at the Texas border. They don't want none of them, you know, Jake's coming over there.
Right.
You know, because of what's been in their heads is they just coming over there they about to come over there and rape and kill everybody. And so Esau's on his paranoia. But we see here it says he increased the people greatly and made them stronger than their enemies. So as we grow and increase, that's what they seeing down there at that border. Plus, they already got mass amount of our people up here already. They like, oh hell no, they really coming together, and they're getting stronger and stronger. And it says we're going to be stronger than our enemies. So this is all part of the plan. But what our people got to go ahead.
I'm not to cut you off, but when you read verse 23, now this was before, as we're reading about, before the kingdom got divided.
Mm-hmm.
But if you translate it to right now, he says Israel came into Egypt. And right here in America, modern day Egypt. So
yeah, that's
you
right.
It's like
That's
twofold.
right.
Israel came into that's the northern kingdom coming into Babylon.
That's it.
Coming into Babylon, and Jacob sojourned in the land of Ham. But that first line, Israel also came into Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
They coming up.
Coming on the modern day Egypt, man. Coming on there, flooding in. You know, they said, oh, that Title 42 for the pandemic, you know, and Trump signed and told them, you know, they can't come up in here because of the pandemic and hold them at the border and doing all of that. Now they saying, oh, that's over with. We can come in and seek asylum immediately. Oh man, they coming in crazy, man. I seen them crossing over the Rio Grande, the river. They getting,
man.
They swimming, they taking boats, they running through the they hopping the fence. Yeah. Yeah, they doing it all, man.
They doing it all.
So I mean, it's got to be, you know, it's got to be something else going on, you know. Yeah. Give me that Isaiah 30. We'll read 1 down to 3, and then we'll go to Ecclesiastes 7.
Okay.
I just want to touch on that a little bit before we, you know, look into the lesson, because ultimately, you know, when we go into the memorial assignment, we're talking about a revolt against the powers. You know, we're talking about our people standing up for the laws and the commandments of the Most High and defending our own, and you know, not falling victim to the oppression that was presented before us. And now we just get to reading that as our people are increasing, we're going to become stronger than our enemies, which ultimately is going to lead to a revolt. You know, the Most High said the saints is going to take the kingdom. So we got to get built up first. We got to get the strength up first. We got to get the numbers up first. We got to get the mental and the spiritual mindset of repentance so that we can be built up into that great and exceeding army that Ezekiel 37 talked about. Right? Go ahead and read that.
Isaiah 30, verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin.
See, we know a majority of the people that's coming over there, they gonna get put to death. A lot of them probably, you know, I'm not a, I don't have no facts of proof on it, but we know 2/3 of Israel got to get put to death anyway. Yeah. So that's why I said a lot of them coming into a burning house, man. They gonna come in here adding sin to sin, because you know, like Ecclesiastes, we don't got to go there 7:7 tell you a gift destroyed the heart. They had to have gotten some head up information, because ain't no way all these people are just coming through on their own, just saying, I want a better life in America. There's incentives that they being advertised to them, saying if you come over here, we got bus tickets, hotel vouchers, we got cell phones for you. We're gonna give you a little debit card that's got some money on it for you. Put you in contact with your relatives if you ain't got none. Don't worry about it. You know, we'll set you up in this little hotel. What they call them?
Asylums. Yeah.
Yeah, Asylum City. You know, California's one.
Yeah.
I forgot where some of the other ones are, but you know, they are buying into this dream that's being sold to them, and they running over here in droves saying, "What? I can leave Venezuela where inflation and the economy's already collapsed, poverty is at an all-time high. You can leave Argentina where the inflation is over 100% right now, and you know they pretty much are in squalor. Mexico, El Salvador, Honduras, Haiti.
Yeah.
I mean, and you got the dang Moabites, they down there too. You still got the Edomites from Ukraine and all, they down there too.
Yeah.
New York is one.
Mhm.
Chicago is one.
Yeah, that's asylum cities, huh?
Yeah.
They trying to flood them on over there, you know. So they're hearing this and they're running over there. But guess what? The Most High said that they've taken counsel, but not of him, and they're covering with a covering, but not of his spirit. They're covering with the American flag. They covering with the American dream and ideologies of getting a green card and thinking like, you know, everything's gonna be sweet over here. When they get over here, they're gonna realize, wait a minute, where's the jobs at? Wait a minute, what happened to the economy? We're finding out that, you know, America's broke. We thought we was coming. Then they're gonna set you up and tell you, oh, you can only go to Watts, Compton. You can only go to Brooklyn, Queens. You can only go to the south side of Chicago. They gonna move up in there, man, in these hostile zones where they like, where'd you come from?
Yeah.
Are you moving to hell? No, you're not moving there. It's gonna be problems. You know, Jake get territorial.
Yeah.
And they tell them that's the only place you can go to. You notice when they dropped them off over there in Martha's Vineyard over there, and they got rid of them immediately.
Oh, immediately. Yeah,
Esau said, "Oh, hell no, the wrong place.
Yeah.
Get the bus here immediately and get them back.
Yeah.
Take them up out here." Oh yeah. And she
Oh,
what
man,
Beetlejuice? That's what we call them.
Light
inchworm.
Yeah.
So the Most High said, man, that our people is going to be, you know, destroyed for covering with a covering, but not of the Most High, that they can add sin to sin. Read on.
Verse 2, that walk to go down into Egypt.
Ain't that what they doing?
That's what
they walking in there, you know.
They walking.
They walking and go down into Egypt, man. They standing at the gate.
Right.
You know, Biden said we can come in.
Yeah.
Trump is out of here. We want in. So they walking down. Go ahead.
And have not asked at my mouth.
It ain't from the Most High's mouth. They doing it because Esau said, "Come on over here. You want heaven on earth? Come on over."
Right.
Go ahead.
To strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh.
Right.
And to trust in the shadow of Egypt.
See, they believe in the American dream. They trusting in the shadow of Egypt. They hearing about the old way, you know, the luster of America, that, you know, being this superpower and this economic powerhouse and everything else. So they said, man, and you know, they hear their relatives from back in the day that's already made it over there, telling them this is heaven over here, man. Come on over here and get this money, send it back home, and you'll be good. This man said, most of them, they out here trying to strengthen themselves in this. Get over there. I'm gonna get strong. I'm gonna get this money. I'm gonna go. You know, I'm shacking. Like you said, your neighbors got.
I mean, I was just getting ready to say, my neighbor, 10 tribe, they all from El Salvador, then put it in the front yard, a hot tub. Oh, they enjoying. You know, they got it all fixed up and everything. I'm like, I was about 5 families over there, but they didn't put a hot tub in the front yard.
5 families. We had one lot. You know, they got a little.
We're in America now. We're in America. I mean, oh please, come on.
You can't tell them nothing. What you gonna tell them?
What you gonna tell them?
If you haven't noticed, I mean, who's not selling tacos on the street now?
Oh, without a doubt.
Everywhere, taco burrito. Everybody's entrepreneurs. They out here selling. They getting their bread, doing their thing. But you know what? The Most High said, you be careful and watch what you're doing, because you're trying to strengthen yourself in the strength of Pharaoh. Not by the Most High.
Not by the Most. You know what keeps me temperate? That Micah 2:10. This is not your rest.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm like, whatever's going on the right side of, you know, whatever, you know, Most High just saying, this ain't your rest. Just deal with it. Like, you know, people always say, how you feel today? I always say, tolerable.
That's right.
You know, in other words, I'm tolerating everything. I'm not feeling good, and I'm tolerable.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that tolerable covers all that.
That's right.
How you doing? Well, how's your day going? Tolerable. I'm tolerating everything. Thank you very much. I'm keep on moving.
I'm dealing with it.
I'm dealing with it. I say one word and cover everything.
Okay.
Verse 3.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion.
Yeah, because we know America's setting the stage up, man, because they need to really, fully collapse this place so they can institute, the new currencies. They can institute, need be martial law. Because all they need, let a few people get out of control. I mean, we already got the 10 cities all over the place. So imagine when there you go. Imagine when the cities is really flooded with people with nowhere to stay.
Oh man,
you know what I'm saying? And they're gonna be shacked up all over the place. California already got these soft laws on petty theft. So they set up in San Francisco, I think it is, the Target up there before they close it. They said, man, somebody was coming in there stealing like every 10 minutes. They go in with bags and just be like,
And yeah, I saw that.
And now they gotta put the damn shield glass on everything now, so you can't get access to nothing. You need somebody to unlock everything now.
Yeah.
So imagine, you got droves of people coming in here, man. They got a little debit card. Some of them getting little debit cards with a little money on it. And as long as they doing the bid in the ESOP, man, they'll get that card re-upped on.
Yeah.
But if they don't, it's a problem. Jump over to Acts. Let's go to Acts 4.
We ain't seen the homeless the way it's really gonna increase now on the streets. Man.
Well, they had those asylum seekers, man. They coming over here like, California's home now.
Yeah.
Getting hotel, and it's like, what are the homeless people that's already been over here? Where's my voucher? When they cleaned up Venice Beach and got rid of all them people, man, they had a waiting list to get them hotel vouchers. Gang people, they was like, you know what? We don't know where you're gonna go, but you can't be here no more.
I haven't been to Venice Beach in several years. What does it look like now? I mean,
I haven't been in a little while, but they was allowing the homeless to post up all on the beach.
But they ran them out.
Yeah, they ran them out about a year or so ago.
Yeah.
They had the police down there, man, the sheriffs, and was like, look, everybody got to pack up. You got to go because tourism about to kick back in.
Yeah.
The pandemic is coming to an end, and we need to get this money, and y'all can't be posting out here no more. So they got rid of them, man. I don't know where they was giving out hotel and housing vouchers for them.
Yeah.
But they was limited with how many they had. So, a lot of them didn't get them. And they was like, there's a waiting list. So everybody just like, forget it. We just going to go ahead and post up on the streets of Venice and Santa Monica, and they just doing their thing. So, it's going to be interesting.
Oh, yeah.
But, our prayer and faith is that, this becomes opportunity to awaken some of these people too, man, because they're going to come over here to a rude awakening. And then they're going to be looking for, well, what do we do now? Well, you better face the east and, repent and learn about this word about who you are.
Yeah.
That's going to be the danger of them waking up to this truth and being exposed to stuff that they may not have seen and in the depths of El Salvador, Honduras, and Mexico, and, wherever else they're coming from, Haiti. When they see brothers out there on them streets, man, and posting up, they're going to be like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Does anybody speak Spanish? Oh, you might got some brothers, man, rolling in the Spanish. Brothers that can speak that Creole, that patois, whatever, and they be out there going. Let's read that in Acts.
With the spirit of to tell them we're gonna change it back.
Yeah, that's right. Acts 4, and let's read 2 down to 4.
Acts 4 or 24?
Acts 4.
Acts 4. Book of Acts 4.
Actually, you can start at 1. Just read 1 down to 4.
All right. Book of Acts chapter 4, verse 1. And as they spake unto the people, the priests and the captain of the temple and the Sadducees came upon them, being grieved that they taught the people and preached through Jesus the resurrection from the dead.
So Peter and John, they was out there preaching, and they was teaching about Yahweh Shai and the resurrection from the dead, 3 days, 3 nights, the prophecies of the Old Testament, and so forth and so on. And now they saying that the Sadducees and the chief priests of the temples or whatnot, they said they was grieved that they were being that the teaching was going on. So this is what happens when brothers get out there and we start putting in the, continually putting out the word, and now you get a new influx of ears and spirits to hear the word of the Most High. The establishment is going to be grieved that they waking people up now. Even more are getting woke up. Why what they say, strike while the iron's hot. We talking about this quote unquote great awakening. Now you get more ears and more spirits to hear the word. It can only mean that more people is going to wake up. Go ahead.
Verse 3, and they laid hands on them and put them in hold until the next day, for it was now eventide. Howbeit, many of them which heard the word believed.
So it said that Peter and John got arrested, so they laid hands on them and put them in the holding tanks for the day until to the evening. But it said it was too late. Because many of them that heard the word, they believed. Go ahead.
Howbeit, many of them which heard the word believed, and the number of the men was about 5,000.
Man, see how powerful that word is? It said, man, all they had to put in a little work, man, and before you know it, thousands believed.
Hold up.
And it was really problems. So that's the type of spirit that, remember, Yahweh Shai said that the time got to be cut short for the elect's sake. So when you talk about mass awakenings and people waking up like wildfire, and here you see droves of people coming in, most of them are going to be coming in drinking the Kool-Aid, that Jim Jones American, wrath of the fornication of the great whore. They're going to sip that and get put to death. But I guarantee you there's going to be some of them people that in the thousands and thousands come over here that's going to wake up. And they're going to hear this truth. They're going to say, man, I came to America for a better life, and here I am living the truth now. You're going to hear them testimonies a couple years from now, if we still here. Most I permit. Isaiah 30. Let's jump over there real quick. Isaiah 30, and let's read 20 and 21. No, is it 20?
Look at Isaiah 30.
Yeah, Isaiah 30. And let's read 20 and 21.
Verse 20. And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore. But thine eyes shall see thy teachers.
Yeah, when they get over it, they're going to see the teachers of the Lord. They're going to hear a word that's coming out that they ain't never heard before. Go ahead.
Verse 21. And thine eyes shall hear a word behind thee, saying, this is the way, walk ye in it, when you turn to the right hand and when you turn to the left.
See, that's the ultimate goal in the prayer of the faithful, that, some of them people that's coming over here for a quote unquote better life, their better life is going to be because they repented and they started keeping the laws and the commandments of the Most High. That's really America's greatest nightmare, is that the thousands of people that's coming over here, man, a remnant of them is part of the elect and get sealed. And before you know it, man, this thing is going to escalate even faster, because that's when we're going to start seeing the more of the prophecies unfolding, the more America is going to collapse even more, because the children of Israel is being sealed. So, the downfall of this place is really going to be shining even more. So I want to touch on that real quick, man. Let's jump over to the other part of the lesson with Simon, because it's all about rebellion, awakening. It's all about repenting, and as we see our people being put in oppressive situations, and our brothers and sisters back in the time of the Maccabees under the rule of the Greeks was looking for a better life. And ultimately, as we were winning victories and starting establishing ourselves in the various kingdoms, in particular, when we're talking about the memorial assignment, we're talking about the Seleucid kingdom. This is where our people was dwelling at. This is where Simon Maccabee was not Simon Maccabee. That Judas was on the Maccabee, but was dwelling at. So let's just read a little history. First Maccabees 2, And let's just read 1 down to 5 so we can identify Simon.
In the book of First Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
In those days arose Mattathias, the son of John, the son of Simeon, a priest of the sons of Jorim, from Jerusalem, and dwelt in Modin. And he had 5 sons: Johanan, called Caddis, Simon, called Phasi, Judas, who was called Maccabeus, Eleazar, called Avaron, and Jonathan, whose surname was Aphas.
So here's the Levitical bloodline of the Maccabees, coming from the father Mattathias with his 5 sons, and most of us know regarding the legacy of these sons. In particular with Judas and Jonathan and Simon. Were some of the main catalysts into us getting our liberation from the Greeks. Let's jump over to chapter 2 and let's read 51 down to 65.
Book of Simon, chapter 2, verse 51.
Mm-hmm.
Call to remembrance what acts our fathers did in their time, so shall ye receive great honor and an everlasting name.
So the blueprint has already been understood. The Most High, through the mouth of Mattathias, is letting us know, how do we achieve victory? How do we achieve the favor of the Most High? It says we got to call to remembrance what acts our fathers did in their time. So even when we read like Judges 5 and 11, it says we to rehearse the righteous acts. The rehearse is also being the call to remembrance. And the rehearsal is also seeing what was to be done, whether we're rehearsing the laws or we're rehearsing after the spirit of righteousness and faith that our forefathers and foremothers went through, because the Most High said that's how we're going to establish ourselves to receive great honor and an everlasting name. I want my name to be everlasting. I want the name of Israel to be everlasting. The rest of the brothers and sisters that are sacrificing and doing the works and following after the laws, man, you don't want our names. The Most High said that a good name is more precious than fine gold and rubies or whatnot, man. So the name of Israel, Yasha Allah, man, that has to go on. That has to continue. Read on.
Verse 52. Was not Abraham found faithful in temptation, and it was imputed unto him for righteousness?
Mm-hmm.
Joseph, in the time of his distress, kept the commandment and was made Lord of Egypt.
Now look at that. So he said, now one aspect, we talk about faith. Then you hear about Joseph keeping of the commandments, right? So isn't that Revelation 14? 14:12 says that we got to keep the faith of Christ and the commandments. So these are principles that was going on all the way back during the time of Abraham. Well, Abraham is known as the father of faith, right? So that is the establishment of our understanding, is built upon the faith. Then we're following after the commandments. So each one of our forefathers is bringing out different principles that we adapt to, learn, and understand how to make that part of our lives and our walk, so that we can be found right and honorable in the eyes of the Most High. Continue on.
Verse 54. Phinehas, our father, in being zealous and fervent, obtained the covenant of an everlasting priesthood.
Now look at that. Zealous for the covenant. Go ahead.
Verse 55. Joshua, Jesus, for fulfilling the word, was made a judge in Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Caleb, for bearing witness before the congregation, received the heritage of the land.
So you see Joshua, it said that he was fulfilling the word, meaning what? That he was walking in the word, living it, not only just talking about it. Remember what the word says, be not hearers of the word, but doers, right? So Joshua had, through the commands of Moses, he said, man, you're the next up. You're going to lead them into the promised land. Do everything that the Most High tells you. Follow after the same ways that I laid down. Right? So he had to live it. So we have to do the same thing, is fulfill the word that's in here. Right? So the Most High told us, you got to keep the faith of Christ. You got to be zealous for the covenant. You got to keep the commandments, fulfill the word, do what's in the word of the Most High, bear witness. I mean, what we got to go out there. The Christians say that they're going out and witnessing.
Jehovah.
Yeah. They going out witness with what Christ said. You mean to go on the highways and the byways. You go out there and be a witness to the word of the Lord. Go ahead.
Verse 56. Caleb, for bearing witness before the congregation, received the heritage of the land. David, for being merciful, possessed the throne of an everlasting kingdom.
Well, didn't Yahweh give us that understanding too? He said the meek's going to inherit the earth, and how much mercy is being bestowed upon our people. That's going to bring us to a kingdom, right? Go ahead.
Elias, for being zealous and fervent for the law, was taken up into heaven.
So Elijah, we see them same principles, being zealous and fervent for the law. That is an ultimate means in getting into the kingdom. I mean, all the way back to the end of Revelation tells us that. Read on.
Verse 59. Ananias, Azarias, and Mishael, by believing, were saved out of the flame.
Right. So, you got Shadrach, Meshach, and a bad Negro. Through their faith, man, and their belief, were saved out of temptations, trials, because that's going to come along with the territory. We just have to be prepared and understand and know that comes along with it and not get lumped upside the head saying, why is this happening to me? What's going on? We look at our forefathers, we look at our foremothers, and we see, well, what did they do? How did they get through? They continued to believe. They continued to have faith. They didn't get disheveled. You know what I'm saying? So they were facing death in the oven for standing on the principles of the law and saying we're not bowing down to no idols. We're not taking part in these folly days, in today's terms. We're not taking part of the traditions that Babylon got going on. And if that means we got to be tortured and killed, then so be it. And they still strong. And that's the type of things that we face on a daily and will face in the future. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Go ahead.
Verse 60. Daniel, for his innocency, was delivered from the mouth of lions. And thus consider ye throughout all ages that none that put their trust in him shall be overcome.
See, and ultimately is the trust in the Most High, man. Proverbs 3 says, trust in the Most High and don't lean to your own understanding. Ultimately, man, like the Christians say, let go and let God. Well, the scriptures say, Yahweh said, cast thy burden. Well, the Most High said, cast thy burdens upon me. Sometimes you just got to let go. Say, man, you know what? As you said earlier, it's what his will is, what he wants.
It's a whole attitude. It is what it is. No. It is what the Most High says.
Yeah, it is what he says it is. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Continue on.
Verse 62. Fear not then the words of a sinful man, for his glory shall be dung and worms.
That's right. Go ahead.
Today he shall be lifted up, and tomorrow he shall not be found, because he is returned into his dust, and his thought is come to nothing.
See, we're dealing with a sinful nation. Amos tells us that. You're talking about a reproachful and abominable people, man, that's out here living as lords over us. The Lord said, man, but don't worry about it. He said, even though he's being lifted up right now, tomorrow, meaning in the very near future, he's not going to be found no more. He's going to be eliminated. And he said his thoughts is going to come to nothing, man. All the evil plots that he's doing, when they talk about in, what was it on, is it Micah 2, it says he rises up early in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
He's thinking about wickedness in his bed, and then in the morning he wake up and practices covered in fields and lands and all that. Most I said, man, all them thoughts that he's got right now, man, all the plots and plans, and he licking his lips and rubbing his hands together, saying, "Oh yeah, come on over this border, because I'm gonna use all of y'all to help bring this thing to a whole close. It's all gonna turn backwards on it." Go ahead.
Verse 63. I'm sorry. Verse 64. Wherefore, ye my sons, be valiant, and show yourselves men in the behalf of the law.
Of religion?
Of the law.
Go ahead.
For by it shall ye obtain glory.
See, the valiantness needs to be shown on behalf of the law, man. You know, ultimately, we see that that's where it all leads to. All roads lead to that. Getting back discipline in a moral nature, in a dietary nature, in a civil nature, ceremonial nature. All of those things, the Most High said, be valiant and stand strong in those things. It says that's how we're going to obtain our glory. But read verse 65.
Verse 65.
Mm-hmm.
And behold, I know that your brother Simon is a man of counsel. Give ear unto him always. He shall be a father unto you.
So you see what Simon's position was within the brothers. You know, Malachi said, man, when I'm gone, y'all listen to your brother. He's going to take my place. He's going to be the counselor. Judas was a warrior. You know, Judas was out there with the armies, man. He's swinging the hammers. He's going crazy. Simon was a thinker. He's the one sitting back, utilizing wisdom. And what the Most High tell us in these times. Isaiah 33:6. Wisdom and knowledge is going to be the stability of our times and strength of salvation. So as Mattathias is letting it be known, he said, look, if we're going to get through this thing, Judas, I know you're going to take the armies and you've already established yourself that you're going to be the warrior of the clique.
Mm-hmm.
But Simon, he said, y'all listen to him.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes down to matters of counsel, when it comes down to, voice leadership and democracy and things of that nature, let him take the lead.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why we're going to jump over here and see and understand why and what his position was in leading not only our nation, but, you know, his household and the rest of the brothers. Jump over to, let's go over to 1 Maccabees 13.
Book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 13.
So by now, mostly everybody that's following, listening, you know, many of y'all, this ain't your first memorial assignment, but for those who's just picking up and watching online, you haven't watched. We're talking about the Maccabees. We're talking about an era where the Greeks are in rule. Rome is trying to come up and establish themselves as a power looking to overthrow Greece. Many of the Jews turn to Hellenistic ways. They start following after the Greek customs and ways. They started following and abiding by the laws and the ways of the Greeks, taking on the names, the language, have dispelled themselves from following after the commandments of the Most High. You had a family of the Maccabees who were fighting to keep the legacy of the Holy Scriptures intact, the temple intact, and our traditions and way of life intact. Throughout this time, as we're gaining strongholds, you know, you end up having Israel having areas of land where they was allowed to keep and defend and have on their own. So this is where we're at right now. Simon is now the leader of, you know, Israel. And there's a wicked general, man, as usual, rising up to try to destroy our people in the midst of a war that was going on. Because, well, let's read and we'll talk a little bit historically about what was going on.
Book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 13. Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen.
You reading 1 Maccabees? Okay, no, that's cool. I was saying to read 13, but no, that's good.
Oh, okay,
that's good. So that, you know, brother brought out the precept in regards to us seeking our license to follow after the ways of the heathen. And why this is important is because, again, this is under the Seleucid Empire. So if you look at a map and you see, well, what was the range of the Seleucid Empire? The Seleucids was controlling many of the countries and regions that we read about in the New Testament. The 7 churches was found over there in Turkey and Asia Minor. So when you're connecting the dots about these Gentiles, it helps us understand and know where our people was placed in and why they was fighting this particular fight and what was the state of mind of many of our people. Many of them turned to the ways of the Greeks. They were following Gentile ways for hundreds of years until the time of Paul and the apostles and Christ, so forth and so on. That's all they knew. It's no different than our people here right now in America, who's been here for generations upon generations, for centuries now, and all they know is America. They ain't thinking about. I mean, we see our people all the time. Telling them, you know, you a Jew. You know, I ain't no Jew. My family's from Alabama. I'm a Johnson, and this that. You know, third generation slave. My granddaddy picked cotton. He like, yeah, it's in the Bible though. These are Jews. No. You know, they don't want to break that cycle of understanding that you've taken on these kids. Yeah. They taking on the customs, man. They lighting the fireworks on July 4th. No, it ain't got nothing to do with them. You know, first, what is it? New Year's.
Yeah.
In a few weeks, they're gonna be doing Memorial Day. You
Mama's
know,
Day is Sunday.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's part of it. You know, worshiping of the female deities of Greece. You know, from Diana and Serapis and all of that. I mean, that's where all of that stuff comes from.
Yeah.
But now, so like the brother was reading, our people were seeking license to be like the Greeks now. All right. So let's jump over to Maccabees 13. First Maccabees 13. Let's read one.
Book of First Maccabees, chapter 13 and verse 1. Now, when Simon heard that Tryphon had gathered together a great host to invade the land of Judea and destroy it, and saw that the people was in great trembling and fear, he went up to Jerusalem and gathered the people together.
So Tryphon is a general under King Alexander Salus of Syria, and he claimed that he was a descendant of Antiochus V, which was the wicked root, you know, that took over under the Seleucid Empire. Jump over. Let's move back to First Maccabees 11, so we can understand who this Tryphon is and what is going on. 11, and let's read 38, and we'll read down to 54.
Book of First Maccabees, chapter 11, verse 38. After this, when King Demetrius saw that the land was quiet before him, and that no resistance was made against him, he sent away all his forces, everyone to his own place, except certain bands of strangers.
So you had one king, Alexander, another king, Demetrius. They're bad. They want, you know, they're trying to fight for ultimate rule of the Seleucid kingdom or that region over there. So Demetrius is he's the said king at the time. You know, he's got the majority of the power. And while they're he said now there was a peacetime that was happening right now. But continue on.
Everyone to his own place, except certain bands of strangers, whom he had gathered from the isles of the heathen. Wherefore, all the forces of his fathers hated him. Moreover, there was one Tryphon that had been of Alexander's part of 4.
That's not talking about Alexander the Greek. This is a different Alexander. Because remember, Alexander died in the first chapter. This is a king called Alexander Salus, S-A-L-A-S. This is that particular Alexander. And he ruled from 150 to 145 BC. So now, we're seeing here, Demetrius got everything quiet. He's bringing in the heathen and said all his fathers, because he's doing that, his fathers is hating on him. Because Demetrius, you know, ultimately was going to seek the help of the Jews to help them fight against Alexander. Go ahead.
Verse 39. Moreover, there was one Tryphon that had been of Alexander's part of 4, who, seeing that all the host murmured against Demetrius, went to Simicu, the Arabian, that brought up Antiochus, the young son of Alexander.
So this is Alexander's son, Antiochus. This would be Antiochus Antiochus the 6th. If you read in First Maccabees chapter 1, and you read verse 10.
Book of First Maccabees 1 and 10. And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Ephanes, son of Antiochus, the king. who had been an hostage at Rome, and he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks.
So this is this is Antiochus. It said the surname is Epiphanes, meaning power manifested. So now Alexander Salus, he's claiming lineage to this Antiochus. He's saying that he's his son. Alexander had a son that he named Antiochus Dionysus. So Antiochus is like the title. Dionysus was his name. And Dionysus is a Greek god. All right. So now, here they are going back to verse 39. It says, moreover, there was one Tryphon that had been of Alexander's part of 4. So he's under Alexander's rule. He's a general under Alexander Salus. Now it says, who, seeing that all the hosts murmured against Demetrius, went to Simaclu, the Arabian, that brought up Antiochus, the son of Alexander. So Arabian was raising up Alexander's son, his young son Antiochus. Tryphon is going to push to have Antiochus, his son, to be the new king. So this is the struggle. This is why, the so-called white man, he's so bloodlust for power. He don't give a damn. He will fight and kill themselves. All of the generals are under Alexander. When he died, to tell you about the 4 generals or whatnot, they was all fighting for power.
Yeah.
So now here's another fight for power, looking for the control of the Seleucid kingdom. Demetrius got it. Alexander's rising up. He wants to, he wants to rule. But read on.
Verse 40, and lay sore upon him to deliver him, this young Antiochus, that he might reign in his father's stead.
Mm-hmm.
He told him, therefore, all that Demetrius had done, and how his men of war were in enmity with him. And there he remained a long season.
So Tryphon is politicking to get young Antiochus to be the new king. And he's saying, look, don't nobody like Demetrius, man. We're going to go to war. We're going to take him out. You're going to be the new king. Read on.
Verse 41. In the meantime, Jonathan sent unto King Demetrius that he would cast those of the tower out of Jerusalem.
Now, this is Jonathan Maccabee. Now, he's in diplomacy dealing with Demetrius. He wasn't dealing with Alexander and Antiochus and all of them. So, the Jews chose the side on which they were going to deal with. So they were dealing with Demetrius. So Jonathan told Demetrius, he sent the word out. He said he got to clean some house out over here. Can he have an authority to do so? Mm-hmm. So he says that there was let me go back over here. So he says that he was going to cast out those out of the tower of Jerusalem. Go ahead.
And those also in the fortresses, for they fought against Israel.
So any of the enemies, the surrounding heathen and whatnot, man, he said, we got problems over here. I just want to let you know and make sure that it's cool that we start dispelling our enemies away from us. Go ahead.
So Demetrius sent unto Jonathan, saying, I will not only do this for thee and thy people, but I will greatly honor thee and thy nation, if opportunity serves.
So basically he's saying, look, I'll look out for you and I'll allow it, but if opportunity serves, I'm gonna need something back from you. Go ahead.
Now therefore thou shalt do well, if thou send me men to help me.
See, now he wants to recruit Jonathan. He wants Jonathan to convince our people to go help him fight, because he knows a threat is coming from young Antiochus and Tryphon. Go ahead.
For all my forces are gone from me.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 44. Upon this, Jonathan sent him 3,000 strong men unto Antioch. And when they came to the king was very glad of their coming. Howbeit, they that were of the city gathered themselves together into the midst of the city, to the number of 120,000 men, and would have slain the king.
Right. So ultimately, when you continue on reading, you'll see that Demetrius did end up getting put to death. Antiochus ended up rising up to be the king. Now Tryphon is like a regent / general. He's calling shots now. He's got some power because of his politicking and putting in who he wanted to take place, or who he wanted to replace for king. Now he's got more power in the situation. So now jumping back over to First Maccabees 13, just so we understand who this Tryphon is, why was he a major player when it came down to oppressing and trying to destroy our people? So let's pick that back up. Maccabees 13. Let's read 1 again.
First Maccabees 1:13.
Okay.
13 and 1. Right.
Yeah, 13:1.
13:1.
Yeah.
Now, when Simon heard that Tryphon had gathered together a great host to invade the land of Judea and destroy it.
Now remember, the Jews was already fighting against them because they took Demetrius' side. So it was automatically natural enemies going on. So Tryphon is like, I'm going to get rid of them damn Jews. Because the Jews, we just got to read, man, Jake took out thousands.
Mm-hmm.
So now he's saying, okay, we got to get rid of these Jews, man. Go ahead.
Verse 2, and saw that the people was in great trembling and fear. He went up to Jerusalem and gathered the people together and gave them exhortation, saying, ye yourselves know what great things I and my brethren and my father's house have done for the laws and the sanctuary, the battles also and troubles which we have seen, by reason whereof all my brethren are slain for Israel's sake, and I am left alone.
So Simon is now talking to his people. He's saying, you know, my family, our pedigree, you know how great we've done for our nation and our house, what we've done for the laws, what we've done for the sanctuary, all the battles and the troubles that we endured. He says, by reason whereof all my brethren are slain for Israel's sake. Simon is the last one left. The rest of his brothers and father was already, getting put to death. In particular, Jonathan was the last, he was the last one left. But he was getting ready to get put to death. Simon already knew, I'm the last one that's going to be able to carry on. But remember, his pops dang near prophesied that. When he said, hey, your brother Simon's going to be like a father unto you. He's going to be the one to lead and guide and utilize wisdom. So this is why he was one of the last ones left. But continue on.
Verse 5, now therefore, be it far from me that I should spare mine own life in any time of troubles, for I am no better than my brethren.
See, Yahweh Shai even said that. He said, greater love have no man than this, that a man lay down in his life for his friends. So that was a principle that was carrying on for years. So Simon said, man, be it far from me. He said, man, be it far from me, man, that I be a punk, man, and run out and leave my people hanging. He said, I'm no better than any of you right here, man. And the legacy that my father and my brothers laid down in our position in our nation wouldn't allow him to leave. Read on.
Verse 6, doubtless I will avenge my nation and the sanctuary and our wives and our children, for all the heathen are gathered to destroy us of very malice.
Very malice. So, this is another cut where it lets you know where who these heathen were. Because what did Esau say after Isaac died? What was the vow he said?
The days of mourning for my father at hand, then will I slay my brother Jacob.
That malice, that malicious spirit, man, has been in them since then and carries on. And he said, they're coming at us to destroy us with very malice. He's still carrying that same spirit.
Yeah.
He said, man, we can't allow, they're going to come after our wives, our children. They're coming with great malice. Read.
Verse 7, now as soon as the people heard these words, their spirit revived. And they answered with a loud voice, saying, thou shalt be our leader instead of Judas and Jonathan thy brother.
See, they had to get encouraged again. Israel, we go through down and low periods, man. When you get down in the spirit, you need that pick me up. We need to read these because sometimes it can't come from man. You got to read it from the word of the Most High. And then the inspiration comes in. Then the invigorated spirit kicks back in, and our people say, yeah, we're right. We are a great nation. We did win battles. We did defeat the odds. We did, faithfully seek after the ways of the Most High, man, and the Most High rewarded us. Then the spirit of our people gets revived. All right. Drop down and let's read drop down and read 14.
First Maccabees chapter 13, verse 14. Now when Tryphon knew that Simon was risen up instead of his brother Jonathan, and meant to join battle with him, he sent messengers unto him, saying, Whereas we have Jonathan thy brother in whole, it is for money that he is owing unto the king's treasure, concerning the business that was committed unto him. Wherefore now send 100 talents of silver, and 2 of his sons for hostages, that when he is at liberty, he may not revolt from us.
Now notice how Tryphon is in the business.
Straight up.
I mean, look at Esau.
He's dealing with that
Ain't he
money.
in our business?
Oh, big time.
Tapping the phones. He's on your websites. He's watching every damn. He knows what's going on in our nation faster than we do many a times. They come down telling you about breakdowns and information. You're like, what the hell? So he said when he knew there was a changing of the guard that the people was going to be following after Simon instead of Jonathan. Now he said, okay, send the word that we got Jonathan held hostage and we'll let him go for some silver and two hostages in his place. Read on.
And we will let him go. Verse 17. Hereupon Simon, albeit he perceived that they spake deceitfully unto him.
Now remember, Simon is a man of counsel. He understood and knew, but he said, man, I hear him. Scripture say, man, when he speaketh fair, believe him not. Never trust our enemy. He's Esau, man. He got to be lying.
You know it.
There's something behind it. That's what I'm saying. They sending all these dang Northern Kingdom cats over here, but you know there's something behind that. He don't give nothing for free, and he don't give nothing because he love you. There is an ulterior motive in his heart that he's coming to destroy something. You already know. Don't say that too loud. The IQ channel got suspended the other day. Can you imagine? They suspend the channel for episode 4 of DSTM. I'm on 209 now. They go back over 200 episodes 2 days ago and said, oh, you said medical information. We got to strike the channel. I'm like, at least. I mean, the witch hunt is wild. Wild.
Well, we'll talk about it. He's a gatherer of intel.
You already know. That's why I said.
I'm not going to say no more, though. I mean,
easy, man. Unbelievable. But you see it. Tryphon, he got the word. He said, okay, you know what? I see what's going on. Simon's going to be the new leader. Tell them we got Jonathan held hostage, man. So tell them we need 100. How much was it? 100 talents of silver, and bring over 2 hostages, and we'll exchange. We'll do a fair exchange. And Jonathan said, man, I know this dude is lying. But what? Read on.
Verse 17. Hereupon Simon, albeit he perceived that they spake deceitfully unto him, yet send he the money and the children, lest peradventure he should procure to himself great hatred of the people.
So he had to make an executive decision. He said, you know what? If I don't do it, the people's going to be mad. They're going to hate me because I had an opportunity to rescue and get my brother back and bring back another leader in Israel, and I didn't do it. They're going to think, oh, you got vainglory. You want to be the leader. You let your brother get put to death because you fell in love with being the leader of our people. You wicked. So he said, you know what? Nah, you know what? Let me go ahead and play this game. Send him the money. Send him a couple of hostages. Go ahead.
Verse 18. Who might have said, because I sent him not the money and the children, therefore is Jonathan dead.
Go ahead.
So he sent them the children and the 100 talents. Howbeit, Tryphon dissembled, neither would he let Jonathan go.
Any surprises there?
Ain't none.
Go ahead.
And after this came Tryphon to invade the land and destroy it, going round about by the way that leadeth unto Adorah. But Simon and his host marched against him in every place, wheresoever he went.
So, he's thinking, I got the upper hand, man. This guy is naive. He didn't listen to me. I'm going to go ahead and march down. Jonathan was prepared. It said he met them Greeks at every turn.
Yeah.
Wherever they went, Israel was there, man. Strong Jakes is out there, man, strapped up, ready to take him out.
Mm-hmm.
And gonna do it. Go ahead.
Verse 21. Now they that were in the tower sent messengers unto Tryphon, to the end that he should hasten his coming unto them by the wilderness, and send them victuals. Wherefore Tryphon made ready all his horsemen to come that night. But there fell a very great snow, by reason whereof he came not. So he departed and came into the country of Gilead. And when he came near to Bascama, he slew Jonathan, who was buried there.
See that? He went and killed his brother anyway, man.
Mm.
So Jonathan gets put to death. Now Simon's really got to get vengeance.
Yeah.
Simon's really got to go from broke now. Drop down and read 25 down to 28, and then we'll drop down a little bit more in the chapter.
Verse 25. Then sent Simon and took the bones of Jonathan his brother, and buried them in Moton, the city of his fathers. And all Israel made great lamentation for him, and bewailed him many days. Simon also built a monument upon the sepulchre of his father and his brethren, and raised it aloft to the site, with hewn stone behind and before. Moreover, he set up 7 pyramids, one against another, for his father and his mother and his 4 brethren.
So he set up the pyramids. He set up the burials, man. We wasn't cremating our dead. That wasn't a custom of Israel. The Most High said that we were supposed to bury our dead. So he did so, man, and set up 7 great pillars and monuments in honor of his 4 brothers and his father and his mother, right?
Mm-hmm. And a lot of times they say, where are the pyramids in Israel? They're right there.
Mm-hmm.
They're
so
right
this
there.
is over in Moden.
Yeah, in Moden.
So drop down and let's read 31 and down to 30. Let me see where we can kind of skip down to 31. Read down to 36.
Okay. Verse 30. Verse 31. Now Tryphon dealt deceitfully with the young king of Antiochus, and slew him.
Look how scandalous is doing. He all in the lust for power. He went and set him up to put young Antiochus to be the next ruler. Antiochus rewards him being a regent and a general, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now he goes back and double crosses him, but puts him to death, and then slaps the crown on his head because he already put himself in position to be the next up.
Isn't that the spirit of that white boy, Murdoch, to kill his wife, his son?
Oh, the lawyer, or what was he?
Yeah, I think it's lawyer or something.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm just saying, same damn spirit.
Yeah, yeah.
He killed his wife to distract a money deal that was coming down on him, thinking everything was going to shift to the murder,
right,
rather than him losing his money.
Yeah,
he'd rather kill his wife and his son.
And then he came out and said he did some more scandalous stuff with dealing with some money when he was on trial, and was like, "I'm guilty of this. I swindled millions."
This dude.
But look, I do you one better. This is Edomite female. I forgot where she was. The story was her husband died. And you heard about that?
I heard about
the husband died. She writes a book about grieving, a kid's book about grieving. You heard about that? Turns out, man, the broad killed the damn husband. She the one killed it. Poisoned him, killed him.
I heard about
it. And she talking about, I'm writing a book about grieving. I made some bread off of this book about how to grieve your dad that died. A kid's book. She make all the damn money, and she killed the damn husband.
Kill her. And the picture already, when they had taken a picture,
yeah,
you can see the body language.
Yeah,
she was leaning away from him, and he was trying to get all on her. Or she had ulterior motives.
Wicked,
any wickedness, but the wickedness of a woman.
That's right. And look, John Benet Ramsey. You know,
oh man,
there's always some scandalous man. He's always killing their own.
He killed another woman too.
Yeah, I just had I just did one of the articles I covered last week, man. Edomite went to his brother's house
And shot
and
his
shot his brother.
Oh yeah,
And then went outdoors and got in a shootout with the cops and got put to death.
he drove all the way from Long
Yeah,
Beach.
so he drove from California to
Utah.
Utah to kill his brother.
Oh, my.
They caught him on the ring. He walking up.
What the?
Boop, 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 boop. He walk out, shooting out with the cops, man, get put to death.
You talking about premeditated? He was thinking about that from Long Beach to Utah.
Yeah. So if you
And
see
carried it
this
out.
spirit and Trifon, we go and kill and target, you know that's Esau, man.
Wow.
You see how he do it to this day. How he acts a fool. All for power, all for whatever other reasons.
Man.
They're profiteering off of it. They you hear about that all the time.
All the time.
Read on.
Verse 34.
32.
32, I'm sorry. And he reigned in his stead and crowned himself king of Asia and brought a great calamity upon the land.
Yep. So we're talking about Asia Minor. There's, modern day Turkey. Again, look at the map of the Seleucid Empire. You'll see some of the areas, but he's over Asia Minor. So, flashing back, we're reading about those 7 churches and many of the areas in which you're reading in Acts 2. This is part of those areas where he was ruling. Go ahead.
Then Simon built up the strongholds in Judea and fenced them about with high towers and great walls and gates and bars and laid up victuals therein. Moreover, Simon chose men and sent to King Demetrius to the end he should give the land an immunity, because all that Tryphon did was to spoil. Unto whom King Demetrius answered and wrote after this manner: King Demetrius unto Simon the high priest and friend of kings, as also unto the elders and nation of the Jews, sendeth greetings. The golden crown and the scarlet robe which he sent unto us, we have received, and we are ready to make steadfast peace with you. Yea, and to write unto our officers to confirm the immunities which we have granted.
So remember the relationship that Simon had with Demetrius. He cast in on it and said, "Well, look, your enemy Tryphon is over here, assembling themselves as a king now. We got your back. We've got a league and a diplomacy between us. Let's establish this peace, and we'll do our parts in taking on Tryphon and the Greeks, which are your enemies. You know what they say? Yeah, and the enemy of your enemies, my friend." That type of situation is going on right now. So Demetrius grants this particular treaty and peace with Simon and the Jews. Go ahead. And gave him diplomatic immunity, so to speak. Go ahead.
Verse 38. And whatsoever covenants we have made with you shall stand, and the strongholds which ye have builded shall be your own. As for any oversight or fault committed unto this day, we forgive it, and the crown tax also, which ye owe us. And if there were any other tribute paid in Jerusalem, it shall no more be paid.
So now they was absolved of their debts. They basically let them, file bankruptcy. So you anything you owe, man, we straight on it. We'll be good. So let's drop down. I'm gonna just get to the you know what? Just keep reading. Keep reading then.
Okay. Verse 39.
No, you read that. You can read 40.
40, I'm sorry. Verse 40. And look who are meet among you to be in our court. Let them be enrolled, and let there be peace betwixt us. Verse 41. Thus the yoke of the heathen was taken away from Israel in the 170th year. Then the people of Israel began to write in their instruments and contracts. In the first year of Simon the high priest, the governor and leader of the Jews. In those days, Simon camped against Gaza and besieged it round about. He made also an engine of war and set it by the city and battered a certain tower and took it.
So Simon now set up the garrison to protect the encampments of the Jews. He set up an engine of war. So he set up a battering ram. He set up, a whole system of war against Tryphon, his enemies, and the heathen that was round about us. So he got this immunity from Demetrius so that he can go up and start engaging in war and defending the garrisons and where the Jews was dwelling. So read on, and then Israel signed him over. The scriptures even tell us whatsoever they'll put us out and bring us in, put it in writing, establish a covenant and said, yes, Simon is the high priest. He's going to be a governor and a leader. All Israel agreed, and they established it by contract and covenant that he was going to be the leader. And through Simon, you get John Hyrcanus, which was his son, and he was the leader of the Hasmonean dynasty, which is later on down the line. But read on.
Verse 44. And they that were in the engine leaped into the city, whereupon there was a great uproar in the city, insomuch as the people of the city rent their clothes and climbed up on the walls with their wives and children and cried with a loud voice, beseeching Simon to grant them peace.
So Simon went on the offensive. Now he got free reign. He said, what the hell, we're playing the defense. We're going to go establish our foothold in this area. All the heathen and all these damn Greeks, they're going to learn that we can go and start touching you. Mm-hmm. Now the people is out there saying, oh, please, peace. That's what they're going to do when they see all these damn tribes flood through. They're going to say, leave us alone, please. Go ahead.
And they said, deal not with us according to our wickedness, but according to thy mercy.
Yeah, they want mercy, man. Where's mercy at for Eric Gardner? Where's mercy at for George Floyd? Where's mercy at for Philando Castile? Corinne Gaines, Sarah Bland. The names go on, man. Tamir Rice.
On and on.
They want mercy
now.
They said, don't deal with us according to our wickedness. That was in the past. They already laying that foundation now. That wasn't us. That was in the past. Yeah, right. Don't think about our wickedness.
I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
But they continue doing it.
Right.
Yeah,
they continue doing it over and over and over again. I'm sorry.
At that point, sorry is a sorry word.
Mm-hmm.
At that point.
Yeah. That's right. Go ahead.
So verse 45. Verse 46.
47.
47?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Simon was appeased toward them and fought no more against them, but put them out of the city and cleansed the houses wherein the idols were, and so entered into it with songs and thanksgiving. Yea, he put all uncleanness out of it, and placed such men there as would keep the law, and made it stronger than it was before, and built therein a dwelling place for himself.
Now remember, even somebody, was Israel too. Mm-hmm. Remember, you got the Hellenized Jews that's in there, man. They following out the wicked. He's going in and cleansing out. Said, man, if under my watch, Israel's going to get right, and we're getting back to these laws. We're destroying these idols. We're cleaning it up. And Israel was like, all right, don't deal with us according to your wickedness. And the heathen that was round about, they was getting hit up too. But read on.
Verse 49. They also of the tower in Jerusalem were kept so straight that they could neither come forth, nor go into the country, nor buy, nor sell. Wherefore they were in great distress for want of victuals, and a great number of them perished through famine.
Mm-hmm.
They cried, they to Simon, beseeching him to be at one with them, which thing he granted them. And when he had put them out from thence, he cleansed the tower from pollutions.
Right. So, he's always the diplomat fighting for the laws of the Most High. And as soon as they said, well, if we follow the laws and we listen, will you accept us? And that's the same thing that his son, John Hyrcanus, did. He went in and started cleaning up the Edomites, man, and allowed them to convert to be Jews. And then you wondered how they start following after our ways. That's just one instance of them converting. But it was through forced conversion. It was like, look, we ruling over here, and if you're gonna be dwelling in these lands of Edom or whatnot, well, you're gonna have to Idumea. You're gonna have to start following after these laws. So Simon was doing the same things. But read on.
Verse 51.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. And entered into the 23rd day of the second month in the 170th 70 and first year, with thanksgiving and branches of palm trees, and with harps and cymbals, and with viols and hymns and songs, because there was destroyed a great enemy out of Israel.
Yeah, because when Simon stood up and went to war with Tryphon, they said they met him at every place they went to, defended, slain many of their dead. Tryphon had to retreat. He went back and backstabbed his own king to seek power and regroup. And during that regrouping, Simon went and made a negotiation with Demetrius and said, look, we defeated a great host of your enemy is the same as mine. Let's establish this peace. And Demetrius said, okay, well, look, any debts that you had, those will be forgiven. You go build up your garrison, surround yourselves with your armies, defend yourself. They went out, started converting and getting our people back into the laws. And the Most High said that this was a great day, the 23rd day of the second month, that we were to give thanksgiving and branches of palm trees, harps, cymbals, viols. We was out singing, dancing, doing our thing as Israel does when it's time to celebrate, because a great enemy got destroyed out of Israel. Read on.
He ordained also that day should be kept every year with gladness. Moreover, the hill of the temple that was by the tower, he made stronger than it was, and there he dwelt himself with his company. And when Simon saw that John his son was a valiant man, he made him captain of all the host, and he dwelt in Gazara.
So that's John Hyrcanus, his son, and he's the next one up that's going to come after Simon, and he's going to establish the Hasmonean dynasty, which is going to be the next leadership that's going to start subduing the nations, putting people back in our people in power, and that's when you get to them converting the heathen to following after our ways, because ultimately that's what the Most High said is everything's going to have to come back to the laws and the commandments. The Gentiles of the other nations, they're going to be seeking the light. They're going to have to follow after these laws the same way. Just then it was a little too early because they ended up getting backstabbed by the Romans and everything else. But, we keep this day as a memorial every year. The people said that they were agreeing to allow Simon to be the high priest and the governor and the leader of the Jews. And when he made that stipulation, he said, well, if I'm in the leadership, man, we're going to remember this every year. So in like manner, we do so in remembrance of this great battle and the history that our forefathers and foremothers continue to strive and fight, so that we can actually even read these books right now, so we can still continue on in the legacy of honoring and keeping the laws and doing what it takes for our people to wake up. So let's keep this night, man. Have a good time tonight and keep in remembrance of the great lengths that our forefathers and foremothers went to, man, so that we can have an opportunity to continue the legacy on right now. So all praise to the Most High. Right?